Welcome to Kitchen Table Tangles. My name is Rick.
Hi, I'm Maria, and today I thought we would dance around with Crazy Cadent, one of my favorites because it goes together so uh, seamlessly, and it's kind of fun to watch it progress. So,
Yeah, I was just going to say that it's a very basic tangle, too. It's only
yes,
two strokes, and we'll show you later.
two strokes. So we're going to put these orbs down in this configuration you can see. First, the bigger one in the middle so that you can kind of tell where you're going there. And we're going to join all of the orbs with an S. Always an S, always. That's the direction. So you're not going to, it won't be a 2, it'll always be an S.
So if you just pick whichever one you're going to use, so in this tile, we'll always use the S shape. And you see that Maria is wrapping that S around the circle. So watch when she does it again here. She's tracing it, and then when she comes down, she traces it again a little bit.
What that does is it gives you a more graceful look next to the from the line to the orb. And it's also a great, um, it's a great part of the meditation if you have these little steps in place that arrange you into like a dance.
And it also, you'll see that she's restating the line, and the uh, the the line going over that each time, it reinforces it and it redefines that the line.
And I was also showing you there that how I'm holding this tile so that it's always in my hand. It's not actually completely on the table. It's so that I can turn this tile very easily, instead of having to pick it up each time. So you can see how it's gathered in my left hand. That really makes it easy for me.
And part of it is that this surface that she's working on is cork, so it doesn't slip and spin as easily as like on wood.
But I also like the control of having the paper in my hand. I
Mm.
like that feel. And this particular paper is rugged enough that it doesn't have to be flat on the table. So now we're going to connect the next couples of circles and orbs into the same beautiful, elegant S shape. And you can see how this glorious shell-like uh, look is happening on the outer edges. So beautiful. And you see that in seashells all the time.
So remember that, or notice that when you use that same S shape, no matter where the circle is, you can always connect one to another one, and the connection works perfectly.
So now I'm going to add orbs sort of right out straight from the ones that were there. So going around, and so you can see how I'm always doing the circle without moving my hand. My hand's always in the same position. And that's sort of a habit that Rick and I work on. Again, it um, contributes to the meditation.
Well, and you're also always making sure you're in a comfortable space when you're drawing,
Hmm.
and you can the most relaxed you could be.
So you can see more of these S shapes. Now I'm going to go in right like into the center of that space there that you just created and put a smaller orb.
And then guess what we're going to do?
Yeah.
We'll pick a circle and then connect it to another one.
So what we're going to do is go all the way around that orientation, that collection of circles, and do those.
This tangle is based on cadent. So this is like, we call it crazy cadent, and it is a variation of cadent. And the original cadent has the orbs set out like a pegboard
And into squares too, right?
and into squares. And the original name came, or the original design was inspired by the houndstooth pattern. And we like to come up with playful names, and this is one of our favorites, is that since it was inspired by the houndstooth pattern, well, a hound is a dog, and a dog is a canine, and tooth is a dental, and so canine, dental, Cadent, and this is Cadent. So that's the history of that name.
So now we have our basic flower here. I'm uh, just
She
tidying
loves
up a
to
little. Yeah, I reset lines.
state her lines.
So now I'm adding some beautiful brown color or whatever color that you like, or a perhaps uh,
Just something different.
just something a little different. And I'm adding auras, but the auras still come out of the circles. They're
They're like
sort of a
anchored at each end,
right.
and then they sort of gloss or like what billow away from it, and then reattach themselves.
Right. So they're all good. We choose a triangle, and do those in every triangle. So now here is what it looks like when it's all done. And we're going to aura with this brown pen once again inside each triangle and fill it in with this beautiful reddish, beautiful Renaissance brown. I love this color.
And enjoy filling it in. It's such a beautiful part of the process, and this brown also has changes colors depending on how much you fill in.
Yeah, it has that red quality when when you see a lot of it.
And always, turning your tile. Notice she's filling in the edges, and then very carefully, and then doing the middle. But however you find that works for you to fill that in, just enjoy the whole process. It's nothing to rush through.
Enjoy the coloring. It's like you were a little kid laying on the floor with your coloring book and just taking a Saturday morning when nobody's up yet, enjoying the color.
So look at those, how beautiful the impact is of large solid areas of ink. Adds a nice drama.
So even the little tiny ones make a statement.
Hmm.
Nice. And I tend to do things like off center. I'm not really a big.
Very centered. Or you have your own center.
I have my own center. I like that.
So again, she's laying down some graphite, just sort of putting it in place to then move it around later. And she's holding her pencil at a low angle.
If you were to ask me to dance, we would never go to the middle of the floor. We
Right.
would go to a side orientation and phi ratio to the.
Right, exactly. So again, the tortillon is like pushing the graphite into the fibers of the paper and then just sort of like smoothing it out.
Pretty, huh?
Mm.
Oh, this is one of my favorite colors. It's sort of a teal jelly roll
Yeah,
something or other.
it's
Yeah.
on the palette of Sakura's jelly rolls.
Yeah. So you can see I'm just taking my time, and um, if you can, if you have enough room, leave a white dot in the middle. That's kind of a neat look to it, a little accent like a jewel.
And those are setting in there just a little bit away from those original circles.
Mm.
Nice
But
combination.
yeah, that brown and the teal is beautiful.
Mm.
You can always go into with a white jelly roll and add those little dots, but it feels like the meditation is asking for it. So right here, I'm adding a detail that you might not even notice when it's all done. But to me, it's like it adds just a little bit of drama in there,
She's
a little
using her
bit of
black
black.
black
Yeah.
ink, yeah. It's these little touches that, okay, why does this have so much depth or so much character? And just enjoy that. Turning your tile. Right? You don't even see it actually once it's
Mm.
done.
So this is an '08, and this is another one of my favorite tools. I kind of like this for borders when I want a heavier line, and I can really press down hard with this so that some of my part of my lines are light, and some of them just have a little bit of a lighter stroke. It gives it this quality of almost calligraphic quality.
Yeah, so I don't know if you can notice, but she's pushing very hard at the beginning and then lightening up as she finishes.
All these little tiny gestures or
Gestures, that's a
you
really
like
good
that? A
word. I like
gesture?
that.
Um, add to the quality of a piece. And often when you see a tile that you really love, it's because the artist has taken the time to do these things. So now with my pencil, add some graphite in the corners here around the edges.
I really like that gesture. I mean, it's something like, and to invite you to develop your own gestures that are, Maria has hers, I have mine, and
They're like signatures.
yeah,
Artists, all artists have it. There's a style that somebody can say, "Oh, that's a this," or that's a uh, I don't know, a muga or whatever. Um, it has a
like
look.
a character, personality.
Hmm.
So you can see how she's pulling the graphite into areas where there wasn't any. So you can just put it in the tight corners and then bring it out, and it's really nice. And notice how the graphite sets off because of that gap between the '08 and the inner tangle.
So I like to hide my signature in there a little bit. And so I was really happy with the way this came out, and hope you enjoy having fun with this. And I also did a bunch of other samples so that you could see the possibilities when you're playing with Crazy Cadent.
So that's beautiful.
Thank you. That's kind of cool too, in a different sort of way. It's almost undulating, right? And I'm going to show you what that triangle looks like so you'll easily be able to reproduce this if that's how you want to do it.
So in this case, Maria's doing it as a 2. So if you decide to do it as a
Right.
2, just do them all that way. And you can looks like a harp, doesn't it? A Celtic harp.
Yeah.
You can think of these individual sections as reticula in the Zentangle
Right.
approach of fragment and reticula. There are these repeating sections in which you put the same element, and then when they're all together, it has this impact of the patterns that develop because of what's next to it, and we call those meta patterns.
So it might seem like a lot of work to put this um, Knightsbridge in these, but it was a wonderful journey. I loved doing it. And it doesn't take that long.
Well, again, it's got great contrast.
Almost court jestery like.
Mm.
Oh,
And you
and
can see how she added the graphite there.
oh, the graphite really made it pop.
Again, she's going back over it with the black '01.
Hmm. So that was fun. Now this was kind of cool. I love this. It seems complicated, but it's so simple that it's almost
This is
crazy.
almost one of the simplest ones, yeah.
Right, right. So I'm going back to my S shapes.
Always doing that takeoff and land.
Hmm. There's your dot in the middle, and you're going to extend the lines to the dot, and you have this unbelievably magical shape. It's so beautiful, and with such ease. Isn't that neat? And then a little bit of pencil shading on one part of each triangle.
So how simple is that, right?
Mm.
Nice.
This one's a little more complex, but you can see how fun it is, and we'll go through the exercise here.
This is very similar to the first one, and with a little bit of difference. Again with the S shape. So feel free to explore these in like all sorts of different ways, and you know, try different weights of pens. You can try different colors, but with all of those things that you're doing, remember that this is all coming off that basic intrinsic pattern.
So you can see how this starts like the first, or the second example. Was it the first one? Was it the
I
first
think it
one?
was the first one.
But how different it looks when it's done. So we're adding more and more of those little
Anchored oars,
anchored oars.
tethered oars.
Tethered, that's what I like. Tethered is good. I like that. Anchor seems so
Heavy.
heavy. Yeah. Here's some color, and you can see the crazy cadent and everything in there. And then I just went in with some brown jelly roll, and then added white afterwards.
That little gap between the brown and the teal
Yeah,
makes it a little rounding on the outside there.
it was kind of fun. Now, this one
This I
is
think is one of my favorites.
really okay.
No, because it's just so simple.
Well, you can talk about this one.
Okay, so here we go again, right? Circles, connect them with a consistent. In this case, we'll do
The two-ish.
the S shape.
Oh no, that's S. Yeah.
S shape, yeah. But now we're going to go in with a Zentangle technique called rounding, which is like if you imagine like some liquid just puddling in those sharp edges there, or sharp corners.
This is a little more sophisticated, I think. When you look at it, you can't really tell how it was done.
And then she just went in and added a little graphite. It's really nice. It like makes it a really soft touch.
Mm.
So,
And this one I put my heart into.
So thank you very much. This has been great, and we'll see you next time.
See you later. Bye.